Okay, let's start. So we'll do some sums based on the previous theorem that I did. Like what was the previous theorem? The more simpler version was that if f of alpha and f of beta are of opposite signs and where alpha and beta are two distinct real numbers, okay, then there lies at least one root of fx equals to 0 between alpha and beta. Okay, so we will do some sums based on this particular theorem now. Okay, if alpha and beta are two distinct real numbers such that f of alpha and f of beta are of opposite sign, then there exists at least one root of the equation fx equals to 0. Now, very often we shall be interested in the sign of the polynomial fx for a sufficiently large value of x. Like suppose I have some polynomial fx. Okay, so I'll be interested on the value of f of some very big value of x. That means I'll be interested in suppose f of a very big value of x. That can be 1000, that can be 10,000, that can be 1 crore, etc. I'll denote that value by f of infinity. So f of infinity actually means uh, a value of fx for sufficiently large value of x. Sufficiently large value of x. Okay, so remember this. And similarly, f of minus infinity will denote the value of the function for sufficiently small value of x. So this will be required at times. I'll tell you why do we require it. So let me take this a question. Let me read the question. Show that x cube plus 2x square minus 2x minus 1 equals to 0. Show that this has one positive root and two negative roots okay, lying between minus 3 and minus 1 and between minus 1 and 0. So this is my question. Show that this cubic equation has got one positive root and two negative roots, and whatever the negative roots, one negative root lies between minus 3 and minus 1, where the other lies between minus 1 and 0. So solution. Let me give this some name. So let fx equals to this x cube plus 2x square minus 2x minus 1. Okay, see what is the thing here. I have 0, here I have minus 1, here I have minus 3. So first of all, I want to show that there lies a root, because two negative roots, one between minus 3 and minus 1, one between minus 1 and 0, and one is positive, that means after 0. So anywhere after 0. Okay, anywhere after 0. Now what is f of 0? F of 0 is clearly it's minus 1, right? Because you put here 0, 0, 0, 0 and then minus 1. What is f of infinity? That means for a sufficiently large value of x, what is f of x? You are putting a very large value here. Remember, I can choose a very big x for which this term is more than this all terms, because cube can be made very big as compared to these terms. So f of infinity will only depend on this term. These are just useless for us, kind of. So what is f of infinity? It is a positive quantity, because you are taking the cube of a very large number, you are adding and subtracting these things. This will not hamper much, but only this will matter. So that is, I can just say that is greater than 0. Why greater than 0? Because this is a positive quantity. Suppose there would have been a negative here, then f of infinity would have been negative. Did you understand my point? Why f of infinity is positive in this case? Now you see, f of 0 is minus 1 and f of infinity is greater than 0, which is, this is less than 0 and this is greater than 0. So if I apply the theorem, there lies a root between 0 and infinity, that means there lies a positive root. Okay, so yeah, so therefore there is at least one positive root, of fx equals to 0, right? Because you see, f of 0 is a negative quantity, so this is negative, and for sufficiently large value that is positive. So there will lie a root between 0 to infinity, that means there is at least one positive root. Now similarly I have to show that a root lies between minus 1 and 0. So f of 0 is less than 0. Let's compute f of minus 1. Let's compute f of minus 1. What is f of minus 1? Minus 1 cube is minus 1. Minus 1 square is 1. 1 into 2 is 2. Minus 2 into minus 1 is minus 2 into minus 1 is 2 and minus 1. What am I getting? I am getting 2, which is positive. So since f of minus 1 is a positive quantity and f of 0 is a negative quantity. So this is positive, this is negative, right? That means there will exist a root between minus 1 and 0, right? So there is at least one root or one negative root, because the root will definitely be negative root lying between minus 1 and 0. And similarly for the last one, I have to prove that there lies a root between minus 3 and minus 1. So minus 1, f of minus 1 I have already computed. I'll find f of minus 3. So what will be f of minus 3 for us? It will be minus 3 cube, that means minus 27, and minus 3 square is 9, 9 to the 18, minus 2 into minus 3 will become plus 6, and then minus 1. So this is how much? Minus 9 plus 6 is minus 3, minus 1, minus 4, this is less than 0. So since f of minus 3 is less than 0 and f of minus 1 is more than 0, therefore there is at least one real root, one negative root or negative real root, right, lying between minus 3 and minus 1. Okay, so I have guaranteed that there is at least one positive root, two negative roots, one between minus 1 to 0. So there is at least, there can be more than one also, there can be 3 roots also between minus 1 and 0. So there is at least one negative root lying between minus 1 and 0. There is at least one negative root lying between minus 3 and 1. Why can I say there is exactly one root between minus 3 and minus 1, exactly one negative root between minus 1 and 0, and exactly one positive root of fx equals to 0? Why can I drop this word at least and write here exactly? Can you tell me?
So the degree is 3, so it has a maximum of 3 roots, sir.
Very good, very good. This is the exact answer what Jatin said. So There is at least one positive root, one negative root, one negative root between this and that positive root. So, but the degree is 3. Maximum there can be 3 roots. So I have already got one root here, and one positive root. So I can say there is exactly one. Okay, in each interval. So let me just write that. I'll just write the thing what Jatin said. So the equation has, but the equation has exactly 3 roots because the degree is 3, you know that. Okay, so but the equation has exactly 3 roots. One is positive, therefore one is positive, other is between -3 and, so 1 is between -1 and 0, and 1 between -3 and -1. So I have proved this. Okay, that there are 3 roots for this equation. One is positive, one between -1 and 0, and one between -3 and -1. Okay, so we are basically doing the nature of roots. We are identifying the roots. Okay, so we are not exactly telling the root, but I can give a guess that where will the root lie. Okay, so we have a similar question next. Let me write the next question. Okay, let me write the next question. So the question is this: show that for, actually there should be any. Show that for any real values of lambda, this equation has all its roots real and simple. That means whatever lambda you choose, you can choose lambda to be -1, you can choose -100, you can choose 1 crore, anything. Whatever lambda you choose, this equation will always have its roots real and simple. Always. You have to prove that whatever lambda you choose, all your roots are real first of all, and they are simple. Simple means they are not a multiple, they are not repeated. All of their roots are repeating exactly once. Okay, so you have to prove that whatever lambda you choose, all its roots are real and simple. Now firstly you tell me what is the degree of this polynomial or this equation.
4, sir.
4, very good. Okay, so let me just call this first of all a name. So give it a name, fx equals to this. So let me again write that x plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2, x minus 4 plus lambda, x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 2. Just try to adjust. Okay. Now the coefficient of x to the power 4 will be 1. That is what is required when we talk about f of infinity and f of minus infinity. Remember that. Because if I multiply this, then only I will get x to the power 4, and I will not get x to the power 4 from any of these terms, right? So I will get x to the power 4 only from this term, that is also once. This. So the coefficient of x to the power 4 is 1, which is positive. So remember, therefore f of minus infinity is also positive and f of infinity is also positive. Why? As already said, the sign of f of infinity and f of minus infinity will depend upon the coefficient of the highest power. Okay, highest power of x. So the highest power of x is x to the power 4, which is positive quantity. And if I put a very big positive number, that power 4 will be positive. And what about f of minus infinity? When I'm putting a correct only. When I'm putting a very big negative number, very small negative number, you are raising power 4, so that will make it again positive. Okay, so I hope you all understood why f of minus infinity is positive and f of infinity is also positive.
So here we can even go to the extent of writing this as equals to infinity and equals to infinity in both the cases, right?
Yeah, but we are mostly interested in the sign, Jati. Yeah, what you said is correct. That will be a very big number, but as said, we are not interested in the value of f of infinity, but we are interested in the sign. What sign they will have. So better we prefer to write the greater than 0 or less than 0. Okay. Now suppose the highest coefficient here like was x cube, would have been x cube, and f of minus infinity will be negative quantity. Just because, like if I take the cube of a negative number, then it will be minus of some number. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay.
So, but it
Yeah.
would also depend on the value of lambda if you do that. So,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are correct. If there would have been x cube, then that will also depend on lambda. What lambda is, that we will do in the next question. Okay. So here f of minus infinity and f of infinity is independent of lambda. Okay. Now I will do, I'll just find f of some numbers. Now I'll find f of some number. Suppose I can find 0, I can find anything. But I have to choose these numbers very wisely. Like for example, if I want to find f of 2, just try to understand. If I am finding f of 2, so this will be 0 because if I put here 2, this whole thing will be 0. But I cannot tell you the sign of f of 2 because that will depend upon lambda. Lambda takes what sign? So we will not find f of 2. We will find f of those values of x for which lambda will not be there. That means we will try to make this term 0. We will try to make this term 0. So what I will do, I will find f of minus 2 first of all, because when I find f of minus 2, this quantity will become 0, making this quantity 0. So what is f of minus 2? Will only depend here. Will only depend here. So again, I am not interested in the value. I am just interested in the sign of f of minus 2. When I am putting here minus 2, this quantity is positive. I'll just write here. When I'm putting here minus 2 plus 1 is a negative quantity. Minus 2 is a negative quantity. Minus 2 minus 4 is a negative quantity. So what is plus minus minus minus? It will be minus only. Did you understand? And this is independent. Like when I'm putting in minus 2, this will make this whole term 0. So this f of minus 2 is independent of lambda. Got it?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now similarly, I will find f of 1. I will find f of 1. Again, that will make this term 0. So what is f of 1? This is a positive quantity. This is a positive quantity. 1 minus 2 is a negative quantity. 1 minus 4 is a negative quantity. But eventually what I am getting is a positive quantity, because you see 2 plus and 2 minus. So minus minus is plus, and 3 plus together will give me a positive sign. Lastly, what I can find is f of 3, right? So let me find what is f of 3. Again, you check by yourself. So this is positive, this is positive, this is positive, this is negative. So eventually this will be negative. Thus, I cannot find any other values, because if I try to find, then in that case, the sign of those terms will depend upon lambda and making things complicated. So we'll avoid that. We'll just find f of minus 2, f of 1, f of 3, that's all. So thus, let me write everything. So I'll write things in the ascending order. So f of minus infinity is greater than 0. F of minus 2 is less than 0. Just a minute. Then f of 1 is more than 0. F of 3 is less than 0. F of infinity is more than 0. So just take a note. Thus, there is one negative root lying between minus infinity and minus 2, because this is positive, this is negative. Again, one negative root or one root lying between minus 2 and 1, because this is negative, this is positive. Again, one root lying between 1 and 3, this is positive, this is negative. And one root lying between 3 and infinity, because this is negative, this is positive. So let me write this. Therefore, each of the intervals, which intervals? First interval is minus infinity to minus 2, another is minus 2 to 1, another is 1 to 3, and lastly is 3 to infinity. So each of these intervals has a root. So contains at least one real root. One real root of fx equals to 0. Right? So again, with the same argument, I can remove this at least by exactly, just because the degree of the equation is 4 and I have got 4 different intervals containing at least one root. So what can I say? Each interval has exactly one root. So thus I'll just conclude that this way. Since the equation has exactly 4 roots, therefore all its roots are real, because each interval had a root, and simple also. Why simple? Because each interval contains exactly one root, no root is repeated, so it's all its roots are real and simple. So you see, without actually considering the value of lambda, we can conclude that. So my roots do not depend upon lambda basically. Okay, sorry, it depends upon lambda, but it does not depends, like whatever lambda you choose, they are going to be real and simple. That is for sure. That is for sure, that whatever lambda you choose, you will get 4 distinct answers for that question. Okay, so we have a similar question. We have a similar question here. So let me write that question. So this is the proof of the previous one. So let me write another question of similar kind. So the same question more or less, show that for any real values of lambda, this equation has got all its roots real and simple. Okay, so again, if you see, the degree of this polynomial equation is what? 4. It is a 4th degree polynomial equation. So how will I start? Again the same logic, I'll give this some name. So let f of x equals to x plus 1, x minus 3, x minus 5, x minus 7 plus lambda x minus 2, x minus 4, x minus 6, x minus 8. This time I cannot say directly that what is f of infinity and f of minus infinity, because the coefficient of x to the power 4 is 1 plus lambda. Because from here what I'll get x to the power 4. From here what will I get? Lambda x to the power 4. If I take them together, so this is 1 plus lambda x to the power 4. So whether f of infinity is a positive quantity or a negative quantity, that will depend upon 1 plus lambda. Did you get my point? Why it is depending this time? So I cannot determine f of infinity and f of minus infinity now at this moment, just because it will depend upon lambda. So let us at least find f of 2, f of 4, f of 6, f of 8. So again, using the same logic, why I'm finding those values, why I am choosing 2, 4, 6, 8, due to this. So this will make this term 0. So I can clearly determine the sign of f of 2. So what is f of 2? This is positive, this is negative, this is negative, this is negative. So eventually f of 2 will be a negative number. Right? F of 4, this is positive, positive, negative, negative, hence positive. F of 6, positive, 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 negative, so that means negative. And f of 8, positive, 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 that means positive. So you see, I have at least got this much. I have at least got this much. That one root between 2 and 4, one root between 4 and 6, one root between 6 and 8. That is 100% sure. I know about 3 of its roots. So now, you see, if 1 plus lambda is more than 0. Why I am considering 1 plus lambda? As already said, the coefficient of x to the power 4 is 1 plus lambda x to the power 4, and there are other terms. So when determining f of infinity or f of minus infinity, it will be positive or negative depending upon this coefficient is positive or negative. So that is the reason I am considering this case now. If 1 plus lambda is a positive quantity, okay, if 1 plus lambda is a positive quantity. Did you get my point? Why I am considering this? So now you tell me,
Yes, sir.
what is f of minus infinity and f of infinity in this case? What is f of minus infinity and f of infinity in this case? It will be?
So positive in this case.
Yes, because this is positive and you know this will also be positive. F of infinity and f of minus infinity both are positive. So in this case, now I can tell you what is f of minus infinity, f of infinity. Therefore, I have this. I have minus infinity as greater than 0. Now arrange this. F of 2 less than 0. F of 4 more than 0. F of 6 less than 0. F of 8 less greater than 0. F of infinity greater than 0. Just I am writing this. Thus, each of the intervals, so which intervals will contain a root? Minus infinity to 2, because this is positive, this is negative. Negative, positive, so 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and 6 to 8. I cannot guarantee that there lies a root between 8 and infinity, because both are positive. So you know, by the theorem, there may be an even number of roots or there may not be even roots. So I am not interested there, by the way. I have already got 4 intervals containing 4 roots, and I can now guarantee that there is no root between 8 and infinity. So we are not considering this. So each of the intervals this contains, I'll now simply write contains exactly 1 root. Now you know the reason why. Exactly 1 root. Because I'll again write at least 1 root, contains at least 1 root, but the degree is 4. So hence it contains exactly 1 root. So this implies if 1 plus lambda is a positive quantity, then roots of, I'll just set it here, then roots of fx equals to 0 are real and simple. Real and simple. Okay, so if this happens, 1 plus lambda is more than 0, then in that case, I have proved that roots of fx equals to 0 are real and simple. But this means my equation depends upon the values of lambda. Only for these values of lambda, that lambda greater than minus 1, this has real and equal. But I have to prove the other cases as well. Okay, I have to prove other cases as well. Therefore, if 1 plus lambda is less than 0, then let's see what happens. So let's consider another case when 1 plus lambda is less than 0. So remember, don't forget that f of x is 1 plus lambda x to the power 4 and etc. few other terms, right? So if 1 plus lambda this time is a negative quantity, then f of minus infinity, you see, I am putting a negative quantity here, a very big negative, a very small negative quantity. So minus infinity to the power 4, that will make it somewhat positive, but this sign being negative, so this will eventually make it negative. And same reason for f of infinity. F of infinity will also be negative, just due to this sign. Okay, but don't do this mistake. If suppose the question was like this, 1 plus lambda x cube In that case, if I am considering this is negative, f of minus infinity will be a positive quantity. Why? Because this is negative, and if I am putting a negative quantity here, so its cube will be negative, so minus minus will make it plus. So just understand these things. So in our case, this is happening. F of minus infinity is negative and f of infinity is positive. So let me write that. Therefore, f of minus infinity is negative, f of 2 was negative, f of 4 was positive, f of 6 was negative, f of 8 is positive, f of infinity is negative. Therefore, each of the intervals, so which intervals? So this interval may not contain a root this time because both are negative. I cannot guarantee that this will contain a root, but 2 to 4 will contain a root, 4 to 6 will contain a root, 6 to 8 will contain a root, and in this time f of 8 is positive and f of infinity is negative. So this time there also lies a root between this. Each of this interval contains exactly one root of fx equals to 0. Thus, if 1 plus lambda is a negative quantity, then also fx equals to 0 has all its roots real and simple. So under this condition also, it has got roots real and simple. It has got roots real and simple. Okay. So I consider the case when 1 plus lambda is positive and 1 plus lambda is negative, but it can be 0 as well. So I have to even consider that. So if 1 plus lambda is 0, so in that case, you understand my point. In that case, this x to the power 4 will not be there. Because 1 plus lambda is 0, that means there is no x to the power 4 in my equation. So in that case, fx equals to 0 becomes a cubic equation. Because x to the power 4 will be absent. Okay, x to the power 4 will be absent. So in this case, what happens? Each of the intervals. So this time I will not find f of infinity or f of minus infinity. I know whatever be the case, there is a root, and there is a root, and that will be my 3 roots for my cubic equation. I don't care about minus infinity and infinity this time. So each of the intervals 2 to 4, 4 to 6 and 6 to 8 contains a real root. I will simply write exactly one root. You can justify later on why exactly 1, fx equals to 0. And this time we were interested only in 3 real roots because it is a cubic equation. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. We are no more interested for this one. What is f of infinity and what is my f of minus infinity? Thus, what I know, if 1 plus lambda is 0, then also fx equals to 0 has all its roots real and simple. So therefore the roots of fx equals to 0 are real and simple whatever lambda may be, because I have considered all the case when 1 plus lambda is greater than 0, 1 plus lambda is less than 0, and 1 plus lambda equal to 0. So in any case I am exactly getting 4 roots, and in the third case I am getting 3 roots because it is becoming a cubic equation. So in all the cases I am getting that this equation fx equals to 0 will have real and simple roots, and this completes the proof. Okay. So let me end the class here. In the next class I'll start Rolle's theorem and so on. Okay, so if you have any doubts up to here, feel free to ask.